But how many opportunities is this guy going to get? Because to me, he's proven each team that he went to, he has not been able to do anything. He has not been able to live up to that expectation that media has put on him, that the fans have put on him, and that basic fans of the NFL has placed on him. So how the hell does Baker Mayfield continue to get jobs after job after job when he's not playing good football? To me, he's just the Johnny Manzel that's continuing to get blessed with more and more.
Now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. And this is the best sports podcast there is. So I greatly appreciate you tuning in, man. Whether you're listening to me on Spotify, iPodcast, iHeartRadio, you're watching on YouTube, or you decided to go to therunusa.com. Check it out if you haven't already, but do that. Hey, but look, man, buckle up because we got a great episode today. We got some callers in. We got our week 14 predictions, but I think most importantly, the thing that's been a common talk around here, and really quick before we jump into the callers, is Prime Time Deion Sanders. Prime Time Deion Sanders is being called a Prime Time Sellout. Which is crazy. So if you haven't heard by now, to give a quick rundown, Deion Sanders is the current head coach at Jackson State University, an HBCU, and he's the head coach only up until the remainder of the season because he accepted a job at Colorado University. He's leaving Jackson State to go coach at Colorado University, a Power 5 school. And people did not like that. They said, all right, well, he's leaving the HBCU. He's a black man. He shouldn't be doing that. He should stay here, continue to do what he's been doing, and help us elevate. That's the argument I'm seeing. That's really what I'm seeing here. But I understand that. But people calling him a sellout, and I disagree. And let me tell you why. I could be wrong. So hear me out. I don't think Deion Sanders can be a sellout at all because truthfully, we knew he was going to Jackson State to fulfill his purpose. He wanted to bring attention to Jackson State University. He wanted to bring attention to HBCUs and the experience. But above all of that, he mentioned that if any Power 5 interest came his way, he would definitely entertain it. And then if you factor in the factor that he could have went anywhere else in the country to establish himself as a head coach, but he chose to go to a HBCU, one that he wanted to shed light on, one that he wanted to shed attention to for the football program. How does this make him a sellout? How? I don't understand it because it doesn't add up at all. And people are talking about the money thing, but I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's levels to it, which I'll explain in a second. And then another thing is this sort of thing happens all the time. When coaches leave, go to another university, this happens all the time. So it's only getting a lot of attention right now because it's Deion Sanders. How many coaches have we seen over the past 5 years jump from one university to another, jump from a smaller university to another, jump to a different position at a university to a higher position at a university? We've seen it happen far too often. And because this is Deion Sanders, and he's a black man who is coaching at an HBCU and helping that HBCU, bringing attention, bringing the media, bringing celebrities, bringing wins, people look as if he owes it to the HBCU, Jackson State University, to stay there and fulfill his due diligence as he already did in this one season. And that's the part I don't like. I feel like it's a sense of entitlement because he's a black man that no, he has to stay here and coach. He should be a damn shamed of himself if he goes somewhere and try and looks for a better opportunity for his personal career and to try and gain respect on all levels of coaching the national college football scene instead of staying only in the SWAC conference that has a limited light on how good of a head coach he can be and the respect that he can receive. Because there's so many coaches. There's great coaches that in the HBCU world out there, but we don't talk about it because it's not on a national scale. Grambling has one of the most winningest football coaches ever. But we don't talk about it at all because it's in that SWAC conference. It's on the HBCU level. So I understand what Deion Sanders is thinking. He's not a damn sellout. at all. I understand it. And as a football player and as somebody who's played football on multiple levels, Deion Sanders, and analyzed football on multiple levels, Deion Sanders, he understands that a player who's thriving at one talent may not always thrive at the highest talent. And that's the same exact thing with coaching right now. So I get it. But again, going back to what I mentioned about levels, it's levels to it. He could never, ever, ever be compared to Nick Saban if he dominates only in the SWAC conference, because he clearly has an advantage at Jackson State University. He had celebrities there. He had the media. He was able to bring in 5-star recruits who are possibly going to be NFL prospects. But when you look at the competition that he's playing on a week-to-week basis, the Gramblings, the Alabama State, TSU, FAMU, those guys don't have that same privilege of having a Deion Sanders to bring in 5-star recruits easily or have multiple NFL prospects on their team. They don't have that. So it's hard to say, oh, yeah, well, Deion Sanders, he's one of the greatest coaches because he's dominating on this level where he clearly has an advantage, versus where Nick Saban and Dabo Swinney are playing against top 5 recruits every week. They're playing against NFL prospects every week. So you can't tell me that, yeah, in this SWAC conference, oh, the levels and the tiers are the same. It doesn't matter. He should have stayed there. He can still be respected, when they don't have as many top tier talent guys, or I don't want to use that word, when they don't have as many top NFL prospects or top 5-star recruits as these SEC schools do, as these Big Ten teams do, as these ACC teams do. When they don't have the same amount of talent in the recruiting that these other schools do, it's very hard to say this guy can be just as respected. So I'm just saying, he ain't no damn sellout. It's obnoxious to say he's a sellout, and I think this ultimately just derives, again, because he's a black man, people feel entitled that he has to stay there and do more for the university that he's already done, and that's not necessarily true. So no, if you ask me, Deion Sanders ain't no damn sellout. But look, we ain't gonna keep running on it. We got more to tap into. We got some callers to tap into. We got week 14 predictions to tap into. So let's do it. We're going to take a quick break and we're going to jump into it, man. Hey, feel free to leave a voicemail at any time. If you heard something I said in that last take and you ain't really like it, you wasn't really feeling it, or you just want to throw your opinion on it, go ahead, leave a call in. Call 219-413-9405. Again, that's 219-413-9405. Give us a call at any time. Share your opinion. Leave a voicemail, and we'll play it back later on next week. So go ahead. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with our voicemail callers and Week 14 predictions. Now, you know, just because you're busy doesn't mean you got to be stressed. I'm crazy busy right there with you, but it can be easier. Next time you're on a run, just make it more fun and listen to The Run with Manny Wilson. It's The Run with Manny Wilson podcast. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it, man. As I mentioned, we have some callers that did call in on a voicemail. So let's play it back and hear what they're talking about. Let's do it. Here's the first one.
What's good, man? It's your boy, Boots.
What's the deal, Boots?
Here with a couple of hot takes.
What's good?
Warriors struggle, man. It's playing. They can't play no defense no more.
Mm.
You know, Luka getting 40. You got role players getting 20. Like, it's a recipe for disaster. You let role players go off for a 20-piece and a star player going for a 40?
Yeah, that's kind of sick.
Man. But, yeah, also they need that spark off the bench, man. Jordan Poole got to start hitting, man. That's what happened in the playoffs. That's how they won the ring.
Okay.
You know, dog came off the bench tripping, but we ain't been getting that same trip this year. You know what I mean? But we'll leave it at that. And like I said, preseason, I'm going to need you to run that voicemail back from preseason hot takes. I said them Kansas City boys is going all the way, and I'm still standing 10 toes behind that. Pat Mahomes going to be Super Bowl MVP, league MVP. It's that year, man. Everybody doubted us because we lost Tyreek and Tyrann, you know what I'm saying? But, shoot, boy. Told y'all, boys. That's all I can say, man. I ain't going to say too much, but, hey.
You crazy, Boots. You crazy. All right, you know what? I'll give you some respect. Let me give you some respect. First off, First, let me go in order. Because you mentioned a couple different things. You talked about the Warriors, and then you talked about the Chiefs. So I'm gonna break it into two. Start off with the Warriors. With the Warriors, I absolutely agree with you. I think defense is a huge reason of why they've been struggling so far. But also, I can't blame it all on defense and Jordan Poole, because that's true. So I'm not disagreeing, but that is very true. He is a pivotal reason too, because they need that bench spark. But the key thing that I've noticed with the Warriors anytime I sit down and watch one of the games is the turnovers that they have. They're turning the ball over in so many key possessions and key moments of the game. It's really hurting them when it comes down to the wire. So I'm saying that the turnovers are what's killing them. And then I noticed too, it was a few weeks back, but when they played against Utah, the Golden State Warriors had 27 turnovers in the game. Like, how the hell do you expect to win any type of ball game with 27 turnovers? So I think that's another that's just kind of reiterating my point of turnovers is also a key thing, because it don't matter how many points Steph score, how many points Clay score, or even if Draymond Green is knocking down shots for that game. None of that matters if you're giving the ball up 27 times, 17 times, 18 times, or 8 times in key possessions of the game. So turnovers is a huge factor of what I've noticed with the Warriors. Obviously, yes, it's their defense that they need to step up as well, but ultimately coming down to the turnovers that I'm witnessing. So that's that. That's the Warriors. And then now you mentioned the Chiefs too. You mentioned the Chiefs. Let me give you an applause. Let me give you an applause. Boots, that was great. That was great. You did. You mentioned. You said it very, very early. You said it from the jump. I'm going to have to find this clip somewhere and play it, because you definitely said it from the jump about the Chiefs going back to the Super Bowl. You said Mahomes was going to still be nice. I agree with that part. I just didn't have enough confidence to think that the Chiefs were actually going to go back to the Super Bowl. But here's why. Because truthfully, bro, I know you're a fan of the Chiefs, so it's a little bit different for you to, just have that faith in your team. That's what you're supposed to do. But as someone who's not really a deep, down-to-earth fan with the Kansas City Chiefs and only likes a particular player in Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, I couldn't give that to them that early, because the competition in the league was supposed to be at an all-time high. Like, bro, who expected this from the Broncos? Who expected the Raiders to be trash like they are? Who expected the Chargers to be trash like they are? Nobody's seen this type of thing coming. So I can't even be mad at myself for being wrong for saying, nah, the Chiefs aren't going back to the Super Bowl, when clearly at this point in the season, they look like one of the best in the NFL. They look like they are 100% going to the Super Bowl because of Patty Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and the head coach. So I agree with you, but Boots, I applaud you, but I can't give you a full applaud saying you predicted it. You knew exactly what was going to happen. You're the guru, because you're a fan of the Chiefs. That's kind of bold to discredit you, but I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I can't give that to you, man. We expected the competition to be way too high all season. But there's so many trash teams and so many teams that had this high standard and high expectation, but let us down big time. So it's tough. It's tough. I can't give you that. But all right, let's move on, because we got one more voicemail we got to jump into, and let's go ahead and run it back. Here it is.
This is Manny Wilson. I just want to call and say this is absolutely
the OG. Hold on. This is the OG. This the OG. This is the OG. I'm gonna let him speak, but man, all love. I'm excited to hear. I appreciate you calling in already, man. This pops. This pops. Let's hear it.
This is Manny Wilson. I just want to call and say this is absolutely my favorite, and it's absolutely the best sportscast that I've ever heard. I love it. This is what my go-to is for all my sports updates. Thank you, Manny Fresh. Keep it going. He's doing a great job. I love it. I love your energy. I love it.
Man.
Peace out. Man,
that's love, man. You know what? I appreciate that so much, man. I love, first off, I love you too. I love you too, first off, but man, I appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you, thank you for embedding that drive in me. Thank you for, giving me that inspiration of wanting to uphold a high standard and trying to pursue anything that I want to do. So I just want to say thank you for being a great father. Thank you for being a great dad. So I appreciate that, and just the support that you've given me over the years and the support you've given me from a young age. So, man, I appreciate that. That's Pops, man. You know what? And going off of that, before we get to the predictions, actually, just tell somebody you appreciate them, whoever it is, whether they get on your nerves a lot, it don't even matter, man. Just let them know you really appreciate what they do, the value they bring to your life, the support system that they may give you, even if it's just basic things, or even if it's just something like, hey, you give me a ride to work on occasion. Like, I don't know, you text me, check on me on occasion. Just let them know you appreciate them. And to anybody who does that for me, check on me on occasion, I appreciate that too. All right, look. Let's jump into the Week 14 predictions in the NFL. All right, let's do it, man. We had to switch up the mood just a little bit. But right now, for Thursday Night Football, we got the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Rams. Now, there's some news within these predictions, so I'm going to give it to you as we go. But for the Rams, they recently signed Baker Mayfield. What the hell? What the hell? So if you haven't heard by now, Baker Mayfield, he was released by the Carolina Panthers, and the Los Angeles Rams decided to pick up Baker Mayfield, the guy who was supposed to be the savior for the Cleveland Browns, the guy who was supposed to be the savior for the Carolina Panthers, the guy who was supposed to be the savior for the Los Angeles Rams. Like, how many opportunities is this guy going to get? Like, damn. He's not good at playing quarterback. Like, I can't fathom that in my mind, and I don't understand it. But we're going to move on in a sec. But how many opportunities is this guy going to get? Because to me, he's proven each team that he went to, he has not been able to do anything. He has not been able to live up to that expectation that media has put on him, that the fans have put on him, and that basic fans of the NFL has placed on him. So how the hell does Baker Mayfield continue to get jobs after job after job when he's not playing good football? To me, he's just the Johnny Manzel that's continuing to get blessed with more and more opportunities. Because tell me he's not. Johnny Manziel had a terrible time in the NFL, and he wasn't really a good quarterback. But people realized that very, very soon, also because his off-the-field actions were rough. Baker Mayfield behaves a little bit better off the field, and because of that, now he's getting all these opportunities as if he's a good quarterback. And that's damn sure not the case. So I don't understand, man. But to get back to predicting the game, here, Baker has a lot of pressure on him to end this 6-game losing streak for the Los Angeles Rams. And I don't think it's going to happen because time and time after again, he hasn't proved anything. He has never lived up to that expectation. He hasn't been able to beat his old teams whenever he play them. He ain't been able to win big games whenever he play them. So why the hell would he win this big game to get them out of a slump against the Raiders? I'm predicting that Baker Mayfield will get dropped again after this season. And this ought to be his last season in playing football, man. Unless we see a tremendous change from the skill set and the understanding of the game of football with Baker Mayfield, we should not be seeing any more of him because right now his skills are very subpar and average when you talk about the quarterback position. And that's just something. It's been way too many quarterbacks we've seen that's better than him continuing to not play. So, and Colin Kaepernick in particular, it's so many other quarterbacks out there as well, outside of Colin Kaepernick that's been playing better than Baker Mayfield. So we're going to leave that alone. Let me move on. But Raiders are going to win this game. When it comes to the Raiders and the Rams, I got the Raiders winning this game. The Raiders are on a 3-game winning streak, and I think they will move on to a 4-game winning streak as they play the Rams tonight in Thursday Night Football. Now the Vikings and the Lions for Sunday Night Football, the Vikings are going to win this game. There's no doubt about it. I think it might be a little bit of battle because it is in Detroit, but ultimately I'm pretty confident in saying the Vikings are going to win this game. You got the Jets and the Bills. The Bills are going to win this ball game. the Browns and the Bengals. Let's pause here because the Bengals, they've been rolling. They're on a 4-game winning streak, and they beat the Chiefs, are included in that 4-game, and the Titans are included in that 4-game. So it's a little bit of something to be proud of. But what you have to keep in mind here when they're playing against the Browns is that the Browns now have Deshaun Watson back at quarterback. He kind of had a rough start last week in his game. Didn't really shock me at all because, the man hasn't been playing football at an at-game pace in a long time. So I wasn't really expecting anything fancy from Deshaun Watson coming back in his first week. But now he's coming back against the Bengals, and the Bengals are at home, so I'm picking the Bengals to win this ball game. Browns, Deshaun Watson, he won't be enough. I think he still has to get into that offensive flow and get into a rhythm. Therefore, we're going with the Bengals to win this ball game here. All right, now the Texans and the Cowboys will face off, and I have the Cowboys winning that ball game. The Jaguars and the Titans will play. I have the Titans winning that ball game. The Eagles and the Giants, let's take a pause because I was aggressive on the Eagles. I was very aggressive on the Eagles. I said that they didn't have a tough schedule. I said that they are frauds. Fakeadelphia Eagles is what I mentioned. I still think there's some truth to all of those things that I mentioned in the previous episode, but ultimately the Eagles are a great football team. And what gives me the respect for the Eagles is that each time the game comes down to the wire and the game is coming to a late game possession, the Eagles always strap their nuts on and they get it together. They always sit big in the paint and they always make things work despite the schedule or the skill level of the team they may be playing. So that gives me my respect for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I ultimately believe they will beat the New York Giants, even though the Giants are at home. So I'm going with the Eagles to win this ball game here. Now you got the Ravens and the Steelers. The Ravens will be playing with no Lamar Jackson, and I don't think that would be too much of a problem for them to get the win either way, even though they are in Pittsburgh. But I have the Ravens winning that ball game without Lamar Jackson. The Chiefs, they'll play the Broncos. There's no question in my mind that the Chiefs will not win this game. Or I said that backwards. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. The Chiefs gonna win this damn game. They playing against the Broncos. They playing against Mr. High Knees and Russell Wilson. But let's keep going. We only got a few more left, but we're gonna take a quick. No. We only got a few more left, so yeah, we can hang in there. Buccaneers. Yeah, we good. Yeah, we're all good. But the Buccaneers and the 49ers, they're playing that game in San Francisco. Now, TB12, he sealed the game in crunch time last week, but I don't think that's going to propel over to this week here against the 49ers because we know the 49ers, they don't have a quarterback right now because of injuries. They were in talks of also picking up Baker Mayfield, but they didn't do so, which was very smart from my perspective. But I think ultimately the Buccaneers will win this game despite the 49ers not having a quarterback. They're going to make it tough because they still have a top-tier defense. They have a top-5 defense. They have an elite defense in this game. So that's gonna help the 49ers. But ultimately, I say they will lose because they're going to have to score the ball. And I think it's going to be extremely tough to score the ball knowing that they don't have a quarterback. And it's hard for me to neglect the fact that the head coach of the Buccaneers will not apply that pressure to whatever quarterback is coming in replacement of the starter. So I think the Buccaneers are definitely going to win this ball game here. TB12 is on a mission to get into the playoffs. It's going to happen, but he ain't going to get to the Super Bowl. All right, let's keep it going. The Seahawks and the Panthers, then we got the Dolphins and the Chargers, and then kicking it off last with Monday Night Football. So we only got 3 more. The Panthers and the Seahawks. The Seahawks are definitely going to win this ball game. They've surprised everyone in the NFC. I really think they're going to end up winning their division because we thought all these other teams who had these high expectations was going to do something, but damn it, they haven't done a single thing. The Seahawks have been the best in their division all season, and I'm confident saying that. So Seahawks are going to beat the Panthers for sure at home of the 12th man. The Dolphins and the Chargers. I have the Dolphins winning this ball game. And for Monday Night Football, we have the Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals playing in Arizona. They don't see each other too often, but I'm comfortable going with the New England Patriots to win this ball game here because I think the Patriots will steal it on the road. And from that perspective, that is all we have for you today, man. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I appreciate you kicking it with me, listening. Again, share this with a cousin, a brother, an uncle, an aunt, a coworker, a person, your neighbor, a person you park next to, someone you see randomly. Just tell somebody randomly, hey, listen to the Run Podcast. Again, feel free to call in at any time if you heard a sports take that I said, or you heard somewhere I was wrong, you heard somewhere I was right. Feel free to let us know, or just let us know you listen to the show. Call in at 219-413-9405. I appreciate you. We will be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.